continues. Where do you think it's going?
Away from away from the African roots.
Okay. Think it's going away from the African roots? Okay.
I think it's going to turn into techno sooner or later.
It's already is.
It's already is.
Yeah.
Well, techno is on here, but you're saying you think it's going to get more techno? Okay. All right. So down here is house, techno, jungle, breakbeat, down tempo. Who's ever heard of down tempo? Dance music. Jungle. Okay. So, reggaeton. Okay. Where else is it going? Anybody, Andy? You think it's going, what's your name?
Aaron.
Aaron thinks it's going more technical. Anybody think?
I think it's going way out there, but yeah, the combination way out. A country singer can be combined with a hip hop song, and a soul singer can be combined with a jazz song. You know,
It's already stuck in there.
yeah.
Well, that's where it's going. So you guys agree. And that's a very strong point. That's a very good point. Very good point. Yes.
Is pop on there?
Pop is, it's not on here, but most pop music that you hear today, would have elements of soul and R&B in it. The way they use pop today. Now, pop music, pop just means popular, right? So, 40, 50 years ago, pop music was more like jazz music. When you listen to Frank Sinatra, and even some of the music of Ella, though she's a great jazz artist, but she's also a pop artist. And you listen, they were more jazzy. So today, pop music is more soul and R&B, with rock and roll mixed in. So pop can go across styles. It's just that it's very popular. That's why they call it pop. Good questions, good comments. I like that. So we're moving ahead. We've got the tree. We see where jazz is in the tree, in the flow of the music. We see where jazz is. Jazz has been called America's greatest gift to the world. You know who that lady is at the bottom?
That's
What's she famous for?
scatters.
Say it loud. Scat singing. Scat singing. Anyway, that's what she's famous for. And that's Cab Calloway. Cab Calloway is famous for hidey, 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 ho.
Hidey, 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 ho.
Hidey, 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 ho.
Hidey, 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 ho.
Minnie the Moocher, that's his big number. Minnie the Moocher. And you can see, you know, you could spend 6 months in a course talking about the many different styles of jazz. Now we're talking about the evolution of African American music, and there are all kinds of different genres. But underneath one genre called jazz are all these other kinds. There's bebop, there's cool jazz, there's swing jazz, there's boogie, there's acid jazz, there's
Smooth jazz.
smooth
What's the
jazz,
jazz fusion?
Afro-Cuban jazz, huh?
What's that jazz fusion?
Jazz fusion is the mixture.
What's like acid?
It's a mixture. Jazz fusion has roots of classical music, world music, and jazz. Straight ahead. When people say normal jazz, they used to say straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead jazz.
What's acid jazz?
Acid jazz was based out of a movement that came from London. It's hip hop and jazz. So you take jazz melodies and you put the hip hop beat in it, then you got acid jazz. Okay, now this is the story for today.
Mr. Henry's Story Hour.
I, as you know, love stories and jazz. How jazz started. See the title there? Birth of Jazz in New Orleans. Right? Why New Orleans? Of all the cities in the country, in the world, why was jazz born in New Orleans?
I think because
like immigrants that came to New Orleans kind of were in the jazz culture type thing? I don't know.
There's jazz. So I like telling people how they're right instead of telling them how they're wrong. You are partly right. So, yes, you have part of the story. And it's, but if you turn it around the other way. So, the immigrants that came helped create the jazz. They didn't come with the jazz necessarily. They helped create it. Harlem is famous for a lot of other styles of jazz. After Harlem, there's a lot of styles, and hip-hop came out of there, bebop came out of Harlem, but jazz started in New Orleans. Any other ideas? Okay.
Well, it's like where like during those days, like jazz was like mostly like black people, like what that was like most of the music they played. So well, like it seems like Louisiana was a state, like a slave state, and so a lot of black people stayed in there, you know, and so they started making music down there. Like
That's true. That's true. But there's a beginning. See, it's like we have the story, but there's a beginning to every story. So it's the beginning to the story is, partly, what's your name? Victor? And what's your name? Elisa. So, here you go. You're in New Orleans. New Orleans was an interesting place because it had slave codes that were different. New Orleans, one of the reasons it's exotic, even today, they eat different food down there, they speak a different language, a Creole, a patois. It's because they have different colonial makeup and roots. The people who founded New Orleans and Louisiana were French and Spanish. So the French and Spanish had different culture than the English, who founded the 13 colonies. They had different beliefs. They had different beliefs about slavery and about race relationships. So the race relationships in Louisiana were very different for us, the way we could think of them today. In Louisiana, for example, if you thought of society's organized in a strata or like a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, in this pyramid in Louisiana would have been, we're talking colors of people, would have been who? As far as the political structure, white. White would have been at the very top of their structure. So it's based on how the blacker you are, the lower you are on that structure. That's the way they made their structure. So, they said, okay, in a lot of the United States, it was just black and white. If you were just 1/64th black, you were black. Okay? But in Louisiana, it was different. Louisiana said, okay, we've got white up here. Up here, we have what's called an octoroon. And notice the word from Greek and Latin, octa, meaning eighth. 8, okay? 1/8. If you're 1/8, you were up here. You had rights. You had rights. You had protection under law, but not as much as white. The next level was the quadroon, which is 1/4 black. You're one, and you've got more rights than the person who is 50-50 or mixed.